I recently moved back to Mexico City and I've been wanting to try a new community focused project. Weekly drop in classes at my local park with no barriers to joining, financial or otherwise. But I was at a bit of a loss in terms of how to structure them. I've only done group classes back in Vienna, and they were exclusively for people who had been private clients before. They were small groups, not in public, and for people and dogs I knew. My new idea is a totally different endeavor. I don't know if anyone will show up at all, but I want to be sure that whoever does show up will have a great experience. Larry Krohn is well known for his generosity and the free groups he used to run, so I reached out to learn from his experience. Hopefully, by making this a podcast rather than a private conversation, some of you trainers listening to us get inspired to try your own version of this kind of class. Hi, Larry. Thank you for making time to come on my show.
Very welcome. You got it. Thanks for having me.
To start us off, please introduce yourself. Definitely tell our listeners about your dogs and also anything else you'd like them to know about yourself.
Oh man, I think people are a little bored with my story. I've said it so many times, right? Larry Krohn. I own Packmasters Dog Training. I'm in Bowling Green, Kentucky, so I'm about an hour north of Nashville, Tennessee. I've been here since '99. Been training dogs for 30 years, and I'm getting old and tired, and not sure how much longer I'll do this. To be honest with you.
But who are the dogs in your life right now?
My own dogs?
Mhm.
Oh, my old guy is Luca. He was my first Malinois. He's kind of the dog. Bruno, my last Rottweiler, the guy on my arm over here. I built the business off of him. Like he really put me on the map. He was a dog that made me look better than I was. He was a phenomenal dog. He taught me so much. Traveled all over with me, and that's when things really started taking off. And then I guess about 17 years ago, 18 years ago, is when I started dabbling more on the working side of things, the sport dog side of things. And I went to my first sport dog seminar with a phenomenal world-class trainer, and that lit the fire under me. It was just blew my mind. It just opened up a whole new world for me. So Luca, my oldest Malinois, he's I guess it was, what's he, 15? I don't know. So I guess it was about 15, 16 years ago. He was my first dog that I got to start as a puppy. He had a lot. He was extreme, a little too much of everything. But it was my first puppy that I got to do what I was good at, raising dogs, like living with them and creating really well-behaved dogs. But now implementing all the new stuff I was dabbling in from the sports side of the world, and putting those two things together with a really nice dog just created this super dog, man. And he really made me look better than I was, because he just had it, you know what I mean? And he's still alive, and he's struggling physically. He can't hear anymore. He looks really old, but like his mind is still just constantly there and strong, and he's been an amazing dog for me. And then my next oldest dog is Buddy, my golden doodle. People are shocked that I have a golden doodle, and they're like, how did you wind up with a golden doodle? Well, very easy. Buddy is 13 or 14. And when Sophia, my daughter, was about 7, she wanted a golden doodle puppy for Christmas. And my wife said, do not get her that puppy. That's a mistake. And if my daughter wanted a puppy, I was getting her a puppy. And that's what I did. And my wife said, you're going to regret that. And my wife was right again. But he's a great dog, you know what I mean? Really super dog, cool dog for what he is. And he's helped me a lot too with the business, because like he's really phenomenal. He loves playing with other dogs. But he got diagnosed with cancer in his throat 2 years ago. And I was going to put him down 2 years ago, because he really struggles to eat. So he eats, but every time he eats, he regurgitates everything immediately and then has to eat it like that. So I said, I can't let him live like that, and I was going to put him down. But it's like, besides from that, he's not in pain or suffering. So I'll give it a little time. And I think I've made 3 appointments to take him in 2 years. And each time, like, the guilt is so heavy. I don't know what the right answer is, because he's not suffering. He's skin and bones. So everything he eats, the cancer is eating. And because of where it's located, there's nothing they could do for him. And it's like, I got him groomed a couple of months ago. And when I saw how much weight he lost, what he looked like, it took my breath away. Like, it looks like he's starving to death. But then on the flip side, he's still happy-go-lucky and willing to play. And I know he's not in pain because he's very sensitive. And so I don't know what to do with that, you know? And then my next oldest dog is Mango, my female Malinois. She's 8. She may be the best dog I ever had in many ways. Just a phenomenal, phenomenal, super social dog. I have Dante, my black German Shepherd, that a lot of people saw what he went through about 2 years ago when he lost his leg. Super well-bred dog. He's the dog that made me decide to compete in IGP, and he has everything that I want in a dog except 4 legs, which sucks because every day I look at him and it breaks my heart because he still wants to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't, because I'm going to be very honest when I say I struggle with watching him run around because he hurts himself a lot, because he hasn't slowed down a bit. Everything is balls to the wall, you know, and with missing the front leg on a bigger dog and is active with the jumping and the spinning and the stopping, I can't let him go through what he went through the last time because it was violent. And I am a little messed up anytime I think about it. I couldn't let him do that again, you know? And then I have Benny, my little long-haired Chihuahua, which is really my wife's sidekick. I was never a little dog guy, swore I'd never have a little dog. Now I promise you I will never be without one. It's the greatest thing in the world. Everyone who's into dogs should have a little dog. Like, it's, don't, when I train him, it's for fun. You know what I mean? There's no expectations. He's built and made just to be your little sidekick and love on you and snuggle with you and hang out with you. And it's really nice not to have those expectations. You know what I mean? Just be a dog with as minimal training as possible. So it's pretty amazing. And you can take him everywhere, you know?
That sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Like, he has brought our family so much joy. Like, everyone just loves him. You know what I mean? And then I have Frankie, my youngest dog, my Malinois, who he'll be a year old next month, August 12th. You know, which I've been through hell with him, but it's allowed me to show people the reality of having dogs, especially high drive dogs.
Yeah.
Because I get so tired of all the highlights people show and the edited bullshit and the edited videos, you know what I mean? And the short TikTok to the music. And I think people were surprised, and some people were disgusted with me about being so open and honest about my struggles with him. But what I explain to people is I can't, you know, I'm an open book. I've showed a lot of stuff for 20 years. I don't hide anything. I put it all out there. And I can't just show the good and not show the reality of the bad. And no one has a perfect life with their, you know, I have had dogs in the past where nothing's perfect, but pretty damn close to it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, like I feel like sometimes you just get lucky.
That's it.
Totally. Is, yeah.
Yeah.
That is that's not the rule. Yeah.
That's right. And the longer you go and the more dogs you have, especially the more dogs you have at once, shit's going to happen. He's a phenomenal dog in every way. I have 3 Malinois from the same breeder, my buddy John and Paula at Mohawk Malinois. The best temperaments you will ever find in the Malinois. He is the most loving, goofy dog. Everyone falls in love with him wherever I take him. I take him to seminars people are crazy about. It was that one thing that made life very difficult for a good 7 months. So you can't hide that and only talk about the good, right? Because people have to know I struggle too. Like, I'm not a perfect dog trainer. I'm very flawed in many ways. And if I have something that I'm struggling with, it was so good for people that were struggling with the same thing to see, oh my gosh, okay, I thought I was the only one. No, this is the dog world, man. Like, it's not fantasy, no bullshit. It's real stuff that people go through. And now, thankfully, that's all done. And it's funny too, Caden, because it was so horrible for so long. Now the little things. What's that?
Crate training was that in Frankie?
It wasn't crate training or potty training. He was a dirty dog.
Yeah.
Like, so it wasn't a training thing. He didn't mind. Yeah. Like, it almost seemed like he preferred to just pee and poop in his crate, and he was totally happy just laying in it. You know, not trying to avoid it and not get me out of here. Just like, hey, good morning. How's it going? But now, because things are back to normal, you get to appreciate the normalcy and the sleeping to a normal hour and not cleaning crates. Like, now it just feels good. You know what I mean? Like, last night, it's my daughter's 21st birthday. She had friends over. I made a big tub of very dangerous, delicious punch. I don't have to think I can't have any of this because I'm going to be up all night and doing this. Now I could just enjoy myself. I'm going to stay in bed till 6 o'clock, 6:30, like a normal person. And I'm like, now it feels good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it. Those are my dogs.
I love it. And yeah, like, that is definitely one of the things I appreciate about you. Like, I first started following you on YouTube at some point.
Yeah.
And like, the interesting thing is, like, just listening to you now and sharing how old your different dogs are. Yeah. I feel like, I went through like a time warp of that, because when I started watching you, like, Luca, for example, and Mango
Yeah.
were a lot younger than they are now, and in
Yeah.
very little time I binged a lot of that. So
Yeah. You know what's funny about that, Caden? When you look at, I used to put so much stuff out with Luca, right? Because everything was new to me too, and I loved it. And people used to just eat it up because there wasn't a ton of people doing that kind of stuff at that time. Now everyone does that and more, you know what I mean? And it's just like everything else. If you look at, I don't know, sports, anything, right? Science in general, everything's gotten so much more advanced and better, and expectations go up so much higher that now the stuff I was doing with Luca, where back then people were like, oh my God, that's incredible. Now everyone does that stuff, and even more, because training keeps advancing and getting better and better, and expectations, you know, if you're going to keep putting stuff out there to try to impress people, man, you better have your shit together, because the expectations are high.
yeah, but what I really like about your content is that it is it's unfiltered, and that is
Unfortunately.
fair now. And when you see a lot of highlights, you don't know. You're like, oh, that looks so easy, but how
Yeah.
does that work? Like, it doesn't work that way if I try it, right?
Yeah,
And
you
yeah,
know, I learned a good lesson, Caden, because when I first started putting videos out, I everything in general, everything I've always done has been geared towards the general public. How could I make it better for the regular dog owners? How could I make, I don't know, e-collars more acceptable to the general public? How could I make people expect more from their, just everything? Doesn't mean I haven't been wrong 1,000 times, I have, right? But when people started watching my videos, I literally made a video and say, "Hey, thanks so much, guys. I can't believe you guys are watching this unprofessional stuff." You know,
you're like,
you know,
it's not because you say that, so
yeah, there was one video. My daughter's like 6 years old, and she's filming, and she farts and burps while she's filming and says, "Excuse me," and I'm like, "Oh," and it's in there. You know what I mean? But I said at one point, you know what? I think I'll get a nice camera and some nice editing equipment and make better. People hit the roof. They're like, "No, don't do that. We want to see this stuff." So to this day, I'm still using my iPhone, and it's a lot of times on a tripod because I don't have people to film for me. I don't have someone following me around, and it's just, that's why there's so much shitty stuff out there that I do. But you also get to see the mistakes and the bad training, and there's plenty of it. And I think that's the part that people really appreciate. You know, I posted a video, and this wasn't planned. I've been doing seminars for 12 or 13 years, and I don't really film it. It's been very rare. I used to go live at seminars on social media, but I don't really film because that my thing isn't to try to build my social media. I want to focus on the people there. You know what I mean? But this past seminar, there was a young lady, a trainer with a dog. It wasn't hers. It was a client, and said, "Would you mind if I film this? My boss wants to see it or something." I said, "Sure." So I asked someone to film it with my phone, not thinking anything of it. It was for her. And then I filmed a couple of progression videos throughout the first couple of, first 2 days.
that's
And
German Shepherd because I have
yes,
it open in a different tab on my laptop, meaning to watch it.
man, like, it exploded, because you're seeing real-time coaching and mistakes and, helping her through things. And then when you see the progression of the dog through the weekend, people are like, this is ridiculous. And I'm thinking, but this wasn't even a tough case. If you would have seen some of the dogs we've had at these things, holy crap, man, like, we'd be selling out for the next 10 years, because people, you hear people all the time talk about how seminars are a waste of time. And I just laugh, because, yeah, maybe for you, you don't know what you're doing, or not, you're not good in that setting, or whatever. But I've watched people's lives transform over the past 13 years, because, whether I'm doing by myself or with Jay and Joel, we're very focused on the human end of things. We're not trying to fix your problems. We're not taking your dog. You've been there,
Yeah,
right? We try really hard to provide the most education possible that can be utilized the second you walk out that door. And we're very upfront with people. We tell people, like, listen, this is a very unfair situation we're putting you and your dog in. A seminar is not an ideal place to train a dog.
I
Our
mean,
goal.
the fascinating thing is that the dogs often will learn anyways, even though they are put in a situation that is
Oh,
very far outside their everyday comfort zone.
so much. It's so unfair, and you still see people completely transform their lives. And we tell them, when you leave here, now you can go back to the beginning in a fair, ideal situation and start from the beginning without all of this around. And you're going to see how easy it is for you now. You know what I mean? So I'm glad I did film that and post it, because it made people go, holy shit. Like, okay, I'm doing everything wrong. Like, that's what I kept hearing over and over and over, and God bless her. Her name's Ira. Thank you, Ira, for not only allowing me to film that, requesting the film it, or I wouldn't have, but how huge is it that she gave me permission to post it? Because you're so vulnerable when you're doing that. You're scared to death. You're stressed. All the eyes are on you. You're at least 20% dumber in that situation
Oh,
because
yeah.
of the pressure. And for for her to say, and the people she works with to say, go ahead and post it, man, I don't think she realizes how many people she helped by doing that. So I'm going to try to pay attention to that stuff more often.
Okay, I'm gonna watch this right after, and I'll put the link in the show notes. It's still open on my laptop. Like,
yeah, make sure you watch the short follow-ups. Watch what the dog looks like, the attitude of the dog, like the passion, like completely different. You know what I mean? For sure, it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of teaching people and dogs, the reason I invited you on is now that I'm back in Mexico City, and I happen to find a place that is next to my favorite, like pretty much next to my favorite park within walking distance, where there's a lot of dog traffic, and there's a great space to train there. So I've been thinking I want to do like free classes for anyone who wants to drop in, because it's really like 10-minute walk and I'm there. And I know you've been doing, or I don't know if you still do, but you used to offer free group classes.
Yeah.
And so I want to try this, but I've never had drop-in group classes before. And part of that is that I feel like in a group, well, group classes are obviously less effective than one-on-ones. But the second thing is, if I just open it up to anyone who wants to come, like, I have no idea who's going to show up. So how do you have a lot of experience with this. How did you, how do you make that work?
It's some of the best stuff I've ever done. I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. Like, I've made so many friends through those group classes that I would have never other run into. I've watched people transform their lives and their dogs through those group classes. I just had a lady, hi Sue Ferguson, if you see it, she wrote a book off of her experience, because when she came to our first group class, and she drove from far away, out of state, 5 hours, whatever, would stay in a hotel room with a friend of hers and her dogs. Like, when I first met her, day one, I'm walking through the parking lot where we're meeting, and this poor woman is just, you could see the pain on her dog's lunging and trying to get to me and just going crazy. And it's a doodle, and you could see her fighting, and it's a lot. And I walked over to her, I said, give me your dog. I snatched her dog, I took her out into the middle, and I just literally looked at him like, really? Like, what are you going to do now? And the dog was like, I've never been like treated like this. What do I do? It didn't work. You know what I mean? And after I gave her dog back, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this dog. Like, he's just used to working. And she transformed. She has 2 dogs. Like, watching her just be out in the wilderness with her dogs off leash. There's bears there, there's deer there. And to listen to her talk, first of all, she gives me way too much credit, like way too much credit. But I've encountered so many people like that. And one of the things I love, Caden, about the seminar thing, the free group classes, all the other classes, I've watched the most incredible friendships develop through these group classes and seminars. Like, it's amazing, especially with the women. Like, the women wind up becoming friends at the seminars. And then next thing you know, I'm getting videos and messages and pictures. They're all on vacation together and their dogs are with them. Yeah, I did some seminars in England and Scotland last year. And, there were a lot of aggressive dogs at the one seminar. And it was a couple of months ago, I got the most incredible, I can't remember if it was a video or a picture, but like, it was a really large group of the worst cases, the aggressive cases there. And all these people were together playing with their dogs and having a good time. And the dogs were all cool. Like, these are the things that, like, there is no price you could put on that. And I'm not someone that goes online and shows. Every now and then I'll post something, a message or something, just to remind people, guys, this is very possible and it's not that hard. But if I posted everything, I got a message the other day. I'm in the airport getting ready to go to where are we just now? Portland, Oregon. And I was having a really bad day. And I was like really frustrated and disgusted with the whole, and I just said, I don't want no part of this anymore. I'm tired of the whole bullshit that goes with dog training. And literally, as I'm thinking this, I get a text message while I'm sitting there waiting for my flight. And it was so powerful to me and so incredible. It changed my whole thought process. And I wouldn't share it because it would be embarrassing to share. That's the things that they said, comparing some of the other really brilliant people that they've worked with and gone to seminars, and then talked about the learning environment that I create. Like, it blew my mind, And then that same night, me, Jay, and Joel sit down for dinner, and I get another text, and it's someone I did an online consultation session with that had 2 dogs fighting in the same home, a couple of Dobermans, and I get a picture of these 2 Dobermans together, all happy, and they're like, I'm blown away. That was one session, what I mean?
That's amazing. Yeah.
So when you get things like this, it's like, that's why I keep doing it. And it's so weird how it works, because every time I think I'm done with this shit, man, I'm over it, I'll get some, like, it's like clockwork. Something awesome is going to come through, be like, okay, I'm back, I'm good. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. And I shouldn't let either way affect me too much. I shouldn't let the bad stuff get to me. You know what I mean? But it does. I'm human. I can't help it.
And I think, that is, I mean, that's not dog training related, but I feel like if it didn't affect us, yeah, like that would mean we're not empathic
Sure.
human beings. So
Sure.
like, just yeah.
Yep.
So when it comes to like a group class where you don't know anyone who's going to show at least the first time,
Yeah.
do you go in there with an idea or a topic, or do you just
No, I never have a topic. I never have a topic because everyone has their own individual problems and their own individual abilities or disabilities, right? So when I used to tell people, especially for the free group classes, say, guys, please do not come from far away for this. It's not a weekend seminar. It's a group class. Don't go driving from far away to do this. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. There'd be people who drove 14, 15, 16 hours for a group class. Now, my group classes never wound up being an hour long or 2 hours long. They're usually 5 or 6 hours long because you got so many people showing up. I'm like, okay, if this person just drove 12 hours, I can't just leave and not get to their dog. So we're going to, even if I say you're not guaranteed to get your dog work, depending on how many people get it, even if I say that up front, I'm never going to leave someone without helping them, right? So when I call a person out, it's similar to a seminar when I say, look, don't worry. I know this is nerve-wracking. Everyone's in the same boat. No one cares. Show me what you got. Show me what you do. Let me see if you were at home. Let me see you play with your dog. Let me see your obedience. And when they show you those two things, like, okay, there's so many, it's easy to get started because no one is doing things correctly in general, right? Every once in a blue moon, I'll get videos from someone from my online sessions where I go, holy shit. I'll call them, like when we start a call, I'm like, listen, you're fantastic. Like, you're doing great. And they're like, really? Because I think I suck. I'm like, no. You don't understand. I do this a lot. I rarely get good videos. And the thing is, when someone sends me, give you an example, I refused to do online stuff. I had no interest in it. I said, I can't help you online with difficult dogs, especially aggression cases. I have to be with you. There was one guy, his exact words were this. So pardon me if you can't curse, you could bleep it out. He said to me, he said, listen, motherfucker. He said, I've spent over $30,000 on board and trains and my dog's worse than ever. I have nothing to lose. He's like, give me an hour. I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, and I'm like, how could I do this? I said, okay, do me a favor then. So I have to know what I have to work with, right? Had a Rottweiler, very dog aggressive Rottweiler. I said, give me a video a few minutes long, your dog on a long line, you doing obedience, whatever your dog knows. Sometimes you're rewarding with food, sometimes you're not. You mix it up. Send me a separate video, your dog on a long line. Let me see you playing with your dog. Play tug with your dog. 2, 3, 4 minutes. And he sent both those videos, just like I asked, and I watched them, and I called him for our call. I said, okay. I said, dude, you're doing everything wrong. You're not even close to being right. He goes, oh, fucking great. I said, no. That's a good thing. I said, because if you were doing everything right and you have these problems, I don't know where to start. But like, this is going to be easy. I said, listen, I don't guarantee anything in dog training. I said, but I'm going to guarantee you this. This one call will get you further than your $30,000 got you. That I promise you, or I'll give you your money back. He goes, okay, you got a deal. And we did. He made so much progress in one call because he was literally doing everything opposite of what he should. And every trainer he worked with focused on the dog and trying to punish the bad behaviors. And for someone like a Rottweiler is my breed. When you take a male Rottweiler that wants to kick your ass or kick a dog's ass and you think you're going to just punish that out of him by jacking up an e-collar or knocking his head off with a prong collar, you will fail 100% of the time, period. So when we changed that, everything got better very quickly. That's how those calls started. So at a seminar, at a group class, it's the same mentality. Show me what you got, show me what you do, and let's go from there. And so you're never going to get stumped.
So you always ask people like one after the other. So like everyone is like, let's say, standing in a large circle, and all team to the center. And you tell them to show you what they've got.
One after the other. Then towards the end, everybody's working at the same time, right? We might get everyone moving in a circle and take 1 or 2 people go opposite. We're weaving in and out of dogs. We're throwing real life stuff at them. Everything we can. This way, if they struggle, we could address it right there and show the people how they should be at least trying to address it and showing them what they shouldn't be doing or why what they're doing doesn't work. Man, you can get so much done and people love it. I've never been hurt by giving stuff away for free. It's never hurt me, ever. And it's something I enjoy doing. So in a way, there's a selfishness to it because it makes me feel good. I enjoy it. I have to do it for me. And the beautiful thing about it, Caden, is if it sucks, you can't complain because it's free. Okay? There's no pressure.
Yeah, but I don't want it to suck, right?
Right,
so
of course.
That's already like a huge thing because I was like, do I have a topic and whatever? But no, that's so much smarter to just take it one team at a time. Everyone who's watching is still learning, even if
Oh,
they're not working.
absolutely. Most people are going to learn more by watching someone else with their dog than their own dog. I tell people that at a seminar too. I'm like, don't just pay attention when you're working with your dog, because you're going to miss the most important stuff. You're going to learn more from watching other people with their dogs, their mistakes, the things they're doing correct, our conversations, everything. So you have to pay attention to all of it.
Yeah, that's why I like going to seminars without my dog, because otherwise I'm distracted all the time.
No, yeah, absolutely. People don't get that. Everybody wants that working spot, right? If I go to a seminar, I'm not taking a dog. I'm
Yeah,
going to sit there and I don't want to miss anything.
especially like, I mean, if I go back to the same seminar, then maybe I'll take my dog. But like the first
Sure.
time, I want to like soak in everything, and I don't want to like have to go out for a potty break right when something interesting is going to happen. Or,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is like already like a huge, like that, it makes so much sense, and it's so
Yeah.
intuitive when you say it. But yeah, and so if someone asks you a specific question, do you still say like, no, we're like gonna approach this holistically? So if someone says like, oh, I have XYZ problem that I want to solve, or do you focus on that problem?
No. Yeah, I'll answer any questions. Now, I'm not always going to have the answer, right?
Yeah.
But if they ask me a specific question about the problem they're having, and I see them work their dog, a lot of that stuff's easily answered, right? And so let's talk about a seminar. When we start a seminar on a Friday morning, like, we have to go so deep, and we hate it, into the punishment stuff, because that's the hot topic and people are starting to learn so much better. I tell people this is going to be very difficult, because changing human habit is the most difficult thing in all of dog training. You've been programmed to think one way, right? I said, however, we'll answer all your questions. But come Sunday, I don't want you to ask, well, how would I stop whatever behavior? You should have the format and the understanding of at least how to approach it. Don't ask that anymore. But people still do. Everybody wants to focus on their one particular problem. And, it's so easy for people to get caught up on just addressing the things they don't like. And what I tried to push people towards, let's focus on making your dog better all around. Let's focus, how do we bring out the best in your dog? Because a lot of times, here's the argument, you've heard it. The force-free thing, balance thing, right? You can't stop behaviors without punishment. That's what you're going to hear, right? Is that true in a way? Yes, but here's the thing. I've had many cases over the years that have been documented, like a lot. Two dogs killing each other inside the same home, many times. Human aggressive dogs, dog aggressive dogs. And many times they go through a whole month board and train, never see any physical punishment, never see any aversives at all, and those problems disappear for life.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at that on the outside, you can't stop that dog on dog aggression without punishing it. Well, here's the thing. The majority of people do so much wrong with their dogs. You never hear people talk about this, or at least in public, right? People do so many things wrong with their dogs. Now, if you did everything right and your dog is fulfilled, your communication is right, everything is right, then yeah, we're going to have to look at how do we suppress this behavior? How do we eliminate this behavior? But when you're doing everything wrong, let's start there first.
Yeah.
And what you will see almost always is when you start doing all the right things, those behaviors disappear with it. I just posted a video a couple of months ago. I took a female German Shepherd, working line Shepherd, out for a walk because I knew this dog wasn't ready to go. And when she sees a dog, she's going to explode. That's why she's here. I knew she was going to do that. Normally, I wouldn't do that. But when I take a dog out for the first time that's with me for a month, that's dog aggressive, that dog doesn't see a walk for 2 or 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I build what I need in that dog, and then I take it and give it that situation, and I give it the choice to do that behavior or not. And what you see is the dog never has the bad behavior there anymore. Yeah. And then you'll see people comment, well, try that with an aggressive dog, or try that with my dog. Or even though the owner of that dog will jump in the comments and be like, no, you don't understand. This dog is 7 years old. It's been 6 years since I could take this dog for a walk. Yeah. Or you'll have the flip side. People will say, okay, I believe you, but what did you do to get the dog there? I say, I showed you everything. I filmed everything with this dog. And they say, no, all I do is see you playing with this dog. Well, if that's what you're seeing in these videos, you're missing the whole picture. That's why you're struggling with those behavior problems. So with this dog, her name was Nix. I said, screw it. I'm going to take her out and I'm going to show you. And she went after a dog, and I got to punish it on video. And you saw her in the next more difficult situation, her go, oh, okay, I get it. I'm not supposed to do that. No big deal. I had over 500 DMs in less than 24 hours about that video going, holy shit, I finally get it. I saw it. Now it makes sense. Like, I couldn't, even though you've talked about it, I've listened to others. Now it made sense. I was doing everything wrong, right? So for instance, when she took off to go after the dog and I marked it with a no and I corrected that behavior and she came flying back to me, that's where everyone was praising and rewarding and then continuing on. Well, I did it. right? That's where things started and it got personal. And they're like, oh my God, I would have totally rewarded that. I said, I know, that's what everyone does. And that's failing, So it was good that I said, screw it, I'm just going to show this. So and it did. It cleared so many things up for people, but that's the internet dog world.
Yeah, and I assume that in that instance, the difference was that you took that dog out earlier, so you got a more intense reaction, and you showed a more intense punishment.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I normally wouldn't do that. I did it just to prove a point to
people. Don't notice what's going on, right?
I did it just to prove a point to people, but it was good for the owners to see that too.
Yeah.
Because in case the dog gives them that behavior, at least they saw me address it, and they could at least attempt to address it in the same way. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think the challenge in that, like that's kind of off topic, but I think the challenge in that is that when you've been doing something like this for a very long time and you're doing it well, it is not super flashy because it's so subtle. And and then you can, like, people are like, how, I don't understand. And and of course they don't understand because they haven't done it so long and they don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
But also you as the trainer don't necessarily, or we as the trainers don't necessarily know how to answer the question because we're like, what are you talking about? Like, it's all there, right? So I feel like sometimes people are talking past each other.
People want to see something dramatic and sexy and exciting, and in reality, like, good dog training is really dull.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter the philosophy in any kind of quadrant or whatever, you will have that same thing going on. And but like the real problem is not even like, yes, people want to see the flashy stuff, but also people don't know how to look for, like if I was watching a video on, I don't know, something that I have, like, I don't know, a completely different topic that has nothing to do with dogs, and it was a subtle video, I would miss the subtlety, and I would ask, like, how did they do that? And the person who's teaching me the thing would be like, it's there, it's right there, just watch it again. And I would still be like, I don't get it.
You know what's funny about that? A lot of people saw that video, right? And so when they ask a question along those lines, they said, did you see the video I posted with Nix, the female working line shepherd? They go, yeah, it was great. I said, okay, tell me what I did. Do you know, if I asked 20 people that question that saw it and were excited about it, one person told me what I did accurately. Every single person saw something different, even though it's very obvious to see. It's like, it's very right there, black and white. But people watch, but they're not watching to learn and pay attention to the little details. They're just not. And so I'm always paying attention to the human brain. It's funny too. It's like, it'd be such a cool experiment, because when I ask someone like, okay, tell me, give me an example. Your dog doesn't sit, and I ask you to obtain the sit through negative reinforcement using the leash and a collar, right? They do it. Everyone gets that right, no problem, right? And there's no praise, there's no reward, there's no nothing. Then I say, okay, your dog blows up. Tell me how you would punish that. And then they tell me how they would punish that. And I said, what are you looking for? The dog to stop the behavior. What do you do when the dog stops behavior? Almost everyone across the board at least praises that, if not rewards it. And it's such a crazy thing. No one rewards the one where it would have been acceptable to.
Right? Yeah, like the good behavior when the dog did the right thing right away.
But everybody wants to reward the punishment afterwards, right? It's insanity. It's crazy. And that's because people don't like where their mind goes when they think of punishment. And so the second they could change the way they feel about the situation by rewarding the dog, that's what they do. And they get in this vicious cycle, and those behaviors never stop. It's crazy,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though. I feel like knowing that about the human mind, we, like, as trainers, we need to be better and help people see what we want them to pay attention to, because they don't know. Like, it's not that they want to pay attention to or to not see it. It's hard. I think it's hard for humans to know.
Listen, anyone could train a dog or get somewhere with the dog if you just know better, a little more than their human does, right?
Yeah.
But our job is how can we be an educator to the human to train their own damn dog? Not every dog owner needs to be or wants to be a dog trainer, right? But how can we at least provide the bare minimum education where things make sense to them? They know how to teach the things they want. They know how to stop the things they don't want. They know how to live properly with their dog on the inside. Those are the three things you need. If the average person understands that, you eliminate so many of the problems we have in the everyday dog household right there. That's simple,
Yeah, and that's on us as trainers. It's not on them to, like, read our minds and know things that they have never been taught. It's like, I was learning a new weird, complicated sport. Like, what's the sport that you play on a horse with, like, a cricket stick or something like that?
Polo.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, like, I would be the same, right? It's not. I think it's a universal human thing about new behaviors in new contexts. We don't. There's so many moving elements, and we don't know what to pay attention to.
Yeah, and dog trainers have a really bad habit across the board of trying to provide way too much information to people.
Yeah.
Like way too much information. They overwhelm them. And when you overwhelm someone, right, they're going to do nothing. And so I learned a long time ago to really make things crystal clear, very simple, and give so little that the people feel like shit if they don't do it, right? You make it to where they can't fail. Just like if I'm teaching a dog a new behavior, I cheat to help them win in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to cheat to help them win. I want them to win. I want them to have success. And later, once the dog truly starts to know it, now I'm going to cheat to help them fail. This way we start proofing things now. It's the same thing with the human. You have to help them, give them one tiny little thing to accomplish, and you can keep stacking on top of that, because then it won't take long before they understand the concepts. Oh, I teach things like this. I stop things like this. I'm screwing this up inside the home, and I'm making things so unfair and unclear to my dog, right? Very simple, very basic.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely had made that mistake when I first started out. I would print out like all these like stacks of like information, additional information, because I thought the people would want to know all the things that I would want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Good people were overwhelmed.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that for sure.
But back to like classes at a park.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like start by telling people like this is the format we're gonna use for this class, or do you just start doing? And
I start with safety stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Pay attention to your dog. Assume every dog is dangerous. Your dogs don't meet. Don't touch other dogs, right? Don't drop your leash. Take nothing for granted. Start with the safety stuff. Basic, period. That's simple, right? That's simple. I tell people, if you don't want to come out here and work your dog, that's okay. Your dog's going to get better at just you having him here in this situation. And if you're struggling, I'll come over and I'll help you. I'll help you through anything that you need. So don't be worried or stressed. You have a question, ask it. Don't wait to ask it, right? Let me address it right there. So it's as informal as can possibly be. I want people to be comfortable. That's it, right? Don't be scared to ask. Don't be scared to fail. You're going to screw up. What I tell them is you're going to screw up with one dog. I may screw up with 20 dogs. There's a big difference. So I'm as nervous, if not more nervous than you, because you just drove very far to be here and sacrificed a lot to be here. And the last thing I want to do is let you down. So I don't feel sorry for your stress right now. I'm more stressed than you, right? I have a lot more to lose than you do. So let's do this and have a good time. And I use a lot of humor. You know, I joke around with people a lot. You know, I tell people, listen, if you get offended by something I say, please tell me, because I promise you, like I kid around a lot. It's funny. We talk about this all the time. You know, me and Jay and Joel spend so much time together, right? Jay is so inappropriate and says the most outlandish things, and no one bats an eye. If I said anything even remotely along those lines, I'd have lawsuits stacked up in my mailbox. You know, that's just how it is. So I'm always careful. And also, too, people sometimes can't tell if I'm kidding or not. So I try to make it really obvious. You know what I mean? And there's going to be times, too, where I get really upset or frustrated. And, you know, I'll upset someone or they'll get mad because I'm mad or frustrated. So sometimes I realize that and I go, oh, no. I've called people before from seminars. For one, I'll say, hey, first of all, I saw the video. It was way too hard on you. Most people, I go, no, I understand why. No. I was too hard on. I'm telling you right now, please, my apologies. But most of the times they'll think, you know, I got really mad at them or upset with them. I go, oh, no, shit. I was upset with myself. Because you're sitting here struggling. And if you see me thinking about things like this, I'm trying to figure out how can I get this through to this person in a better way. And I'm very guilty of that sometimes. So now I try to say, I'm thinking of what I could do different. I'm not like, it has nothing to do with you. I'm so frustrated in myself right now that I'm not making this clear, and I'm trying to come up with a better way to make you understand it, right? But we take things for granted sometimes as dog trainers. We'll say something and assume everyone knows what we mean. And even the most simplest basic thing, not everyone does. It's just like, I'm very guilty on putting out information. That's why I hate short form information too. I'm very long-winded for a reason.
No, I agree.
So a lot of times I'll put stuff out there and it may seem very contradictory or inconsistent. And sometimes it is, but often what I do is I'm speaking to the people that know me and follow me and know everything up until that point. Not thinking there's people that will see this that don't know me at all. You know what I mean? But it's very hard not to, unless everything you do is going to be long and extended. And I don't always have the desire to do that. So I screw myself a lot with quick responses or quick videos, whatever, because those I'm making just for the people who know where I'm coming from. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I mean, it's tricky because the people who know all that stuff like they'll be bored if you start from scratch. But I
Right.
guess like if
Yes.
there's one new person, for example, in a public group class, if there's one new person who's never seen me or seen you in that, like,
Right.
for example, seen me before, I I definitely have to start from scratch. I have to make my initial
Totally.
announcement about safety, for example. And like if everyone who's there has been to a previous one, perfect. I don't
Hmm.
have to start there. But if there's one new person, I do have to start there. I just need to find a way to be as concise as possible. So I'm not talking for half an hour about please keep your dog on a leash. Yeah.
That's it. No, it's
Yeah.
true, and sometimes you don't think about that stuff.
And do you bring, for example, do you bring a long line of flexi treats?
I bring everything. I bring everything. I have everything for every situation. I have one big duffel bag with all my stuff in there, and that's it. And here's another thing too that you could think about that will help you. There was a time where if I was doing a seminar and someone came out with a working spot and they have a dog that has nothing, there's no motivation there for nothing. There's no motivation for food, for play, for praise, nothing. There's no drive in there, right? There was a time I'd stress about that. Not anymore. That's just a different kind of learning opportunity and sometimes a better opportunity. I had that happen a couple of times this past seminar. I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Since your dog don't have much, doesn't want to play right now, right? This is what we're going to do. We're going to run through a few different cycles of how we could teach things, right? I said, first, I want you to pretend that your dog's a puppy or a dog that knows nothing. I want you to practice just literally luring into the basics, marking and moving to reward, the sits, the down, the heel, whatever, right? I don't care about the dog. I'm watching how the owner teaches things, the trainer teaches things, right? Are you making sense to the dog? Something so basic. Almost always they're not. So that's step one. Now I want you to sit on the floor and we're going to introduce your markers and we're going to play with food. You ready? Show the dog you're ready to play. Sit on the floor. Get it? Yes. Get it? Yes. Get it? Yes. All done. Right now we're introducing 4 markers. Ready? Gets the dog activated. Get it? Your reward marker away from you. Yes. Your reward marker back. All done. We're taking a break. Right? Let me see you do that. Now the third thing, and I just did this weekend. I want you to teach all the same behaviors: the sit, the down, the heel, only with the leash. 100% negative reinforcement. And instead of yesing the dog with some kind of food reward, you're going to yes the dog with movement and freedom. I want you to be moving, sit, help the dog with the leash, get into the sit, release the dog, run around. And then I can't tell you how many dogs, when we ran through those cycles, by the time we got to the end, you take out a toy, that dog was full blown playing. And people are like, holy shit, man. So all those little things we did up into that really released the dog. You don't know which one of those styles, right? Or ways of teaching that's going to trigger that dog. Some of them, maybe it's a little bit of all of it, right? But you've been through those because you want to make sure that human, whether it's a dog owner or a trainer, knows how to do those things. If they know how to do those things properly, you're already on your way to impacting that person and that dog. 100%.
That was only of clarity, right? That was probably lacking.
100%. So now I no longer care if someone comes out and there's no motivation. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And I got to tell you, the feedback I got from people watching, they're like, that was brilliant. That was fantastic, because I just learned so much watching that, all the mistakes that I'm making. I'm like, awesome. That was by accident because I was desperate. That's it.
I love that. That's such a good point too. So riffing off of that. So let's say there's a dog and the owner says, well, the dog is not food motivated, right?
Yeah.
And I want to show them how to lure something. Well, the dog doesn't follow the lure. This park that I'm thinking of is like a 10-minute walk from my apartment. So do I bring my own dog? I can station my dog and she'll be there. And then I can ask, I can let the person use my dog to practice those mechanics.
No, you don't have to, because when I think about the worst case scenarios, Caden, whether it's a super, super dangerous dog, right, or a dog that just has nothing, the worst case scenario is the dog's on a leash next to you, you're heeling, sitting, releasing, sitting, releasing, like leash stuff. People overuse food so much, and I'm not anti-food. I teach behaviors to my own dogs with food, right? But if you send me a client dog, I'm going to get you there much faster. Like if we're just using 100% negative reinforcement and the reward becomes the freedom of running around. I have her here again now. A couple of weeks ago, I had a little mini doodle, Winnie.
I remember that video where you're
100% negative reinforcement.
I love that people could not tell whether Frankie.
Well, because you know why? Because when people think of that, they think of something aversive, something negative, right? Something not good. When in reality, when it comes to teaching behaviors, it's 100% opposite. But this is where people screw this up. And I've done this at seminars recently with really shut down dogs. You give me a dog that's super shut down and scared of the world because it's been through some bad shit. I'm getting on the ground with it and I'm going straight to touch, straight through massage, right? Straight through relaxation through that touch. Well, once that little dog stuck its head into me, I knew I had it. But now I get up and people think we're going to bust out the food. No, no, no. Now we went straight to the leash. You add movement, sit, and then I help the dog. Little light taps, tapping under the butt, not just pushing down on the butt like I see people doing, right? Tap under the butt, reach up,
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
down. And then when that butt hits the ground, yes, and we're running around. Well, in a couple of minutes, you see that dog coming to life. But then the second you give the leash to the owner, say, do the same thing. They start moving around. They say sit. The dog doesn't sit right away, and they correct the dog for not sitting. Technically, by definition, is that what I did? Is that negative reinforcement? Yes. Does the dog perceive it the same as what I did? No.
No.
Now you just watched this dog come to life with me that quick, and you just watched the life go out of that dog what you did that quick, right? That's why when people say, yeah, I've done that, it doesn't work. No, that's not what you did. What you did is polar opposite of what I did. By definition, that's why I despise the definitions of operant conditioning in the 4 quadrants, because they don't tell the whole story, especially when it comes to punishment. And I tell people that. Who can give me all 4 definitions? You'll hear people recite that shit inside and out. And I'm very quick to tell them, if you live by those 4 quadrants and those definitions, you will fail, because they don't tell the whole story. There's much more to it than that. But people are going to get consumed by that. You know what I mean? And the difference is we show them. We prove it to them. We don't just talk about it. We show them right in front of their eyes, and they go, I get it now. I get it, because the dogs can't lie, dude. They don't lie. They tell the truth always.
And then in the example you just gave, so for the listeners, the difference between what you did and what the dog did, what the owner did, was you first made sure there was a baseline relationship and the dog was interested in doing stuff with you. And then you playfully help the dog in that behavior. And
I gave guidance and direction.
Yeah.
The other person gave correction. There was a massive difference, right? One made the dog go, oh, okay. Light pressure goes away, and then we party.
And you have fun. Yeah. And the other one was yank and crank, because
that's it.
Work right away.
Big difference. Mm-hmm.
That's so to recap what you said about, for example, bringing out one dog and the dog is kind of shut down for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. So you go through the different ways of teaching behaviors. Maybe you try food first, dog's not interested. Then, okay, you try negative reinforcement, guiding and being playful instead.
Yeah.
Rather than insisting on one modality.
I won't even try food first, because you're always going to get more out of the dog by doing what I just explained. Mm-hmm. Right? People overthink food and think it does much more. There are times where it's going to be beneficial. Don't get me wrong. And like I said, I do use food. I teach behaviors with food, but food is more overused and misused than e-collars and prong collars. It's just the truth. And if you watch so many people in the dog training world, on the force-free side, on the balance side, their use of food is appalling, and they're not getting what they think they're getting out of the dog. And that's coming from someone that does use food, right? But just because you're using food doesn't mean you're using it properly or to the best of the dog's ability. You're not doing it to better the dog, right? Yeah. Like I just watched a video the other day. It was so hard for me not to comment on. Young trainer, power breed, on a place board. She's got a cast on her arm and a hand, e-collar in that same hand, food in the other. That cast is there because she fed that dog in the crate or something. Everything was hand feeding, and that dog nailed her pretty good. So now she's working on rebuilding the relationship by having the e-collar remote in one hand and feeding with the other. That's insanity. It pained me not to comment on that, but I do not like to comment anything negative on people's videos unless it's an abuse video or something. I try really hard, and sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes I will send a trainer that I don't know a private message and say, you got to take that down. Everything's wrong, and here's why. And I don't think, and I always start off by saying, listen, you may not know me. That's okay. And if you tell me to go fuck myself, I understand. But I have to say this to you. Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a person not take me up on my offer and call me. I really don't think so. I think every time, and I've actually made some friends in the training world because of it, because what you find is a lot of these people, their intentions are good.
Oh, yeah.
They think they're doing the right thing, until you show them and explain to them why they're not. And then they make a really, really hard effort to start doing the right thing. But listen, that first person you learn from, it's very powerful. You learn from the first person that's really wrong. That first person that knows more than you, that teaches you, they become a god in your training world until you're told differently, until you see differently. And I know, because I was one of them. I've experienced that.
Yeah, and you need to you need to learn to let go of that, or also to recognize that, I mean, you can learn something from everyone. That doesn't mean you need to learn everything from someone, right?
One of the people I've learned most from was a piece of shit that I learned exactly what not to do and what I don't want to be. That's valuable.
That's absolutely valuable.
Very important. You know what I mean? Very important.
And a lot of the time, I think you'll take something from this person and something from that person, and you make it your own, because
absolutely,
it's to work with who you are as a person too.
Everyone has their own personality and physical abilities or disabilities, right? And so, as someone that learns from a lot of the greats in the sport world, I can't try to emulate someone. Like, I am who I am, so I take what I'm comfortable with from each of those people that I had the privilege to learn from, and just what I can do best. That's what I navigate towards, and I still screw that up too, by the way. Right? It's just that's
Yeah,
dog
like
training.
yeah, and I feel like so I try to give credit um for everything I'm taking from someone, and I
Sure.
remember that was because like occasionally someone like it's like a throwaway comment on a podcast somewhere or whatever,
Yeah.
and I don't remember, right?
No, I
But
get it.
like I remember that I didn't come up with it, so I'm like, okay, like I've experimented with this. I remember hearing it on a podcast, and like I wish I could give credit to this person. I just don't remember who it was.
Sure.
But and the things that I don't take from this person, whatever, like I'm not meant like it's irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you can learn something from almost everyone. And
Hmm.
like I feel like also what you just said with the private message, that makes a huge difference, because if you publicly shame them on their whatever, like they're going to
Yeah.
be defensive, of course, because that's also human nature. But when I'm
100%.
reaching out privately to let you know something, that already shows you that I have good intentions. And
Yeah.
vice versa, when someone does that with me, I so appreciated that.
Yeah.
And also like the fact that this person took time out of their day to write me in private
Sure.
lets me know that they care and that they want to genuinely help me rather than put me down, which they could do by doing it publicly, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Going back one more time before I let you go, because I've already kept you for an hour,
Hmm.
to the public classes in a park. Is there one mistake that you could see me make that you would advise me against?
Oh man, no, because mistakes are part of it. You're going to, just like I'm going to, we're all going to, right? And each time you do it, you're going to say, "I didn't like that. I'm going to do something different." You just never know. That's how you learn how to format things in a better way. I've changed things so many times over the years. Each time that I made things more convenient for myself and to where I enjoyed it more, everything got better.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if you're not enjoying it and it's a burden on you, like that's not going to keep you going, and the people aren't going to get the best of you, right?
yeah,
So it's like I tell people, like the dogs, you have to stop accommodating the dog. The dog should be accommodating you. It's the same thing. You're giving these people a big part of you, right? You have to feel good about what you're doing, and you should look forward to doing it.
yeah,
And if you don't, something has to change. And I've been there many times over the years, but every time I changed what I didn't like, why I didn't like it, everything got better. My relationship with the people, the training, like the whole production of it all got better when I enjoyed it more. It's that simple.
okay, so yeah, focus on how like teach the way I will enjoy teaching rather than
I will accept one thing where I screw up. Set a time, a deadline. I'm going from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. dead time. So if we can't get all the dogs in, because I don't do that, and that's why my group classes are 5 or 6 hours. It's exhausting, and I still enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's the one thing I should be better about. Right? It's going from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. whatever the time. But you
yeah,
set the time and stick to it. Right? And if you know you need to end hard at 12 p.m., then at 11:30 you start wrapping up because people want to talk and ask questions, and then by the time you get out of there, it's 12:30, right? So be
yeah,
very specific with your time, because you're already giving up your time and you don't want to burn yourself out by not having some kind of boundaries. I don't have enough boundaries. I just decided this week that I am no longer watching clients' dogs, something I've offered forever. So I
yeah,
have 2 here now, right? And I don't charge for that. Like, if you've trained with me and you're going away, I'll watch your dog if I have nothing going on. I'm not doing it anymore because now I'm starting to get disgusted with it. Because what you don't think of, you'll get a call to do something that you want to do and you can't because you have dogs here.
yes,
People are out of the country, out of the state. So like I have to, luckily 2 dogs I have here are real easy. But after I said I would watch these dogs, then my daughter, who's at college and she's studying neuroscience and she's doing a lot of cool projects with
yeah,
dogs,
yeah,
he asked me to be part of this experiment up there at her dog lab with one of our dogs. And of course, I'm going to do that, right? But I have a couple of dogs here that now I have to have my wife take care of with
yeah,
my 6 dogs, and that's a lot. Luckily, they're easy dogs, but I said, okay, from now on, I don't watch any dogs. Like it's just it becomes too much now, and I've done it for years. The problem is I have too many past clients, And I never say no to anyone. If I'm home, yes, I will watch your dog. But now it's constant. So from now on, I set those boundaries. I don't watch any dogs, because when I don't have any dogs at my home, just my own, it's very nice. It's nice to have that peace, because I stress when other people's dogs are here, because you got to make sure you get things done right. So
No, I mean, also, like, I feel like I sometimes watch clients' dogs, and then I usually put them first. And
yes, me too. Yes.
And I mean, like, at some point, it's not fair to your own dogs if you keep doing that, right?
Absolutely. Set boundaries. I'm bad at that.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Anyone else out there who would like to do free group classes at a local park, for example? Because I think that's a great way of reaching really many people. Any tip to get started, or?
Yeah, I mean, also, listen, it depends how many eyes are on you on social media, right? That's a big part of it. But I would encourage you then, let's say you have someone who doesn't have a following on social media. It's going to be harder. All right. Do what I used to do before social media. I had to get in the car, throw my dogs in a car, and guerrilla marketing. I'm working dogs on street corners and grocery store parking lots everywhere. So you go to a park where you want to work your dog, have a good time with your dog, meet people there, give people old school cards. Hey, I'm doing this on this day, look me up. I'm going to announce it on my Facebook page, whatever. But you start putting the word out there, the way you interact with people and treat people. Here's the thing, Caden. When I do a seminar, I still get very stressed and nervous, right? So does Jay, by the way. Like, both of our stomachs get messed up in the morning. A while back, I started looking things at a different way, because I felt like I had to fix every dog there that weekend. And that becomes massively stressful. The second I started telling myself, go out there, have a great time, treat people really well, better than they deserve, right? That's when things got better. Like, appreciate what people have gone through to be here and enjoy them and be good to them. It had nothing to do with dog training, because when you focus on that, when you focus on the human interaction and treating people right, the dog stuff just falls into line. It's that simple. Right? Don't focus on the dog stuff. Focus on the human stuff, the relation stuff, and treat people well, because they're there for a reason. They're counting on you. They're trusting you. And many times they sacrifice a lot to be there. Okay. Doesn't mean I won't fuck up and be an asshole sometimes, because I'm always going to make mistakes.
Or human too, yeah.
Yeah. Very good at making mistakes, but I'm good at apologizing too. I don't mind that. My wife's in there right now going, you don't apologize. I do to strangers.
Only to strangers. Okay. Thank you. I have lots of new ideas now, and a much better idea of how I want to structure this and make it happen. They're treat it like a seminar where you are working one team at a time, rather than everyone is going to work at this one thing at the same time. Yeah. That's a way better approach.
And sorry to interrupt you, but there's different kinds of group classes too, right? Back in the day, I used to do group classes only for people that have been through my training program.
That's the only type of group classes I've done.
That was different, because that stuff, we could have everybody working things at the same time, because those dogs are there. These group classes that I do now, you don't know anything, and all the dogs are green and have problems. So two different kinds, both massively valuable.
Yeah. That's the only kind of group classes I have done so far, because I felt that that's the only kind of group classes I could actually create value in. Because I know the dogs, I know the people, they're all at the same level, which is so different from just opening it up to everyone and having, you don't know who's going to show up, whatever.
Very different.
I feel like I have a really good starting point. I will make a few basic announcements when I first start, in order to make sure everyone is safe and having a good time. And then I'll just take them one team at a time, anyone who wants to come out. And initially, there will probably be few people, so I'll be able to spend a lot of time with them, which is great.
That's right.
As there will be more, I'll just try and remember to have some boundaries in place.
That's it.
And I'll bring anything and everything I can think of that we could need, from toys to treats to leashes. And yeah, I'll just take it from there.
That's it. Easy stuff, man.
Thank you so much for
appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
For all the great tangents. Before I let you go, where can people find you online, or even offline, or whatever you've got going on?
I'm probably most active on Facebook. I do the Instagram thing, TikTok, I'm terrible. Like, here's the thing. I went into my messages on Instagram yesterday, and I had so many that I never responded to. I'm not blowing people off. Instagram is a young people thing. So I'm trying to be better, but it's not my favorite, because again, everything's short form on there, and I hate that, right? So I'm most active on Facebook by far, but you're going to get to see all kinds of things you don't want to see, because my whole personal life is on there. I don't have a business page and a private life. I'm one person. You see who I am. I'm still fairly active on my YouTube channel. I still post stuff on there too. Not as active as I used to be. You know what I mean?
please put anything really good and long form on YouTube as well, not just on Facebook.
I do.
Facebook is getting so annoying.
Yeah. I've been getting more active going for a long time. I wasn't. I stopped posting a lot on YouTube, and I need to. I've never done a live on there. I may try to do that soon just to see how it goes. And that's where my biggest, by far, I think I have like 16 million views on there on my videos and 149,000 subscribers, which isn't big compared to a lot of people, but to me it is. And it's much bigger than Facebook and stuff. And I need to start posting more stuff on there.
Yeah, or cross post, because people like me, when I open Facebook these days, like it's all ads.
Yeah,
it's getting worse. Things that I don't want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm teaching myself to just really ignore Facebook as much as possible and just not go on there if I don't have to.
On a business standpoint, it's hard to ignore Facebook.
Right. Like I post when I have to for business reasons, but I don't want to spend my private time on Facebook, but I still want to see, for example, your stuff. So put it on YouTube too, please.
Yeah, totally. I gotcha.
Okay, so I'll put links to your Facebook and your YouTube. Anything else?
No, I think that's about it, buddy. That's it. I'm very simple. I don't promote too much, I put the videos on Sit, Stay, Learn. I got 3 videos on there. That's becoming like this massive site. Like Nick's doing a great job with it. Everyone's starting to put videos on there now. Michael Ellis, I heard Pat Nolan's about to put videos on there. Jay has a great video on there. A lot of people have content on there now. But those 3 videos, I made those 3 videos because those are the things that people struggle with. That's simple. So I'm always listening to what the general public wants, and the reviews and the success of those 3 videos has been insane. So I'm very grateful. That's sitstaylearn.com.
Perfect. I'll link to that too.
Yeah,
I think they're also pretty accessible price-wise.
Oh my gosh, and they're always on sale. Full price, they're like it's a bargain, but they're always on massive sales too. So I've had really phenomenal feedback on the stuff on Sit, Stay, Learn. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I've one of your videos and it's great. It was a great deal. Like some other platforms sell.
Yeah.
Comparatively, it's really good. They have great deals.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I will let you go. Thank you so much for.
Very welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited now about getting started. I'll let you know how my first class goes.
Yeah, really. Tell me. And if you need any feedback or have any questions, hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Caden. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Before I let you go, I've got a favor to ask. If you're enjoying my podcast conversations, it would mean the world if you left a brief review and a rating on your podcast player. Thank you so much. To help me make time for recording and editing this podcast and for community projects like the one we talked about today, the easiest way to support me is to join my Patreon at patreon.com/adventuredogs. Thank you.